Alright, so we're going to be overhauling this RST CAPA CL fork on the Specialized Hardrock. There was a lot of water that was in there, and there's a lot of gunk on the fork, and this is rust and old grease. So we're gonna clean that all up and service it. So yeah, on both sides it's just really gunked up and it's not getting that much travel out of it. And if you're servicing your fork, you're gonna want to get some light grease like this Slickoleum, which is very similar to the RockShox grease. So definitely recommend this. You can get it off their website. First thing you're gonna want to do is disengage the front brakes. I'm gonna put rubber gloves on. Got nitrile gloves on. You don't want to disengage the front brakes. And then take off the front rim. Holy shit, that's really on me. Front rim off. We might need to put it on if we might need to put the front rim back on if we can't get the bolts off. So there's 4mm bolts underneath each side of the fork, and then we're gonna want to take off the brakes, which is a 5mm Allen key. So we're just going to take these off. And then here's that came off. Where's the bolt back in? Just don't lose it. So we got those off. Now we're going to see if we can get the 4mm bolts out of the bottom of the fork. So there's 4mm bolts right here on either side. So we'll go this way, which is weird because that's I think it's clockwise. So from this perspective, go clockwise. Loosen. Our first 4mm bolt off. This one I'm also going clockwise. It's kind of weird. Yeah, and these bolts are supposed to have thread lock on them, so I'm gonna have to get that eventually. So there's water on the bolt. So yeah, there's still water inside the fork. Alright, so I got this Milwaukee screwdriver and I'm gonna pop these caps off. We don't really have to. So here's the first cap. Got the second cap off. Oh shit. Okay, so there we go. Okay. Holy shit. Holy shit, dude. Yeah, these have seen better days, man. I don't even... Wow. Holy cow. So I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna bring you closer. These forks or I mean, I don't get it. Like I call it a, so I call it a fork, but some people call the whole thing forks. But look at how like disgusting that is. There's rust and gunk all in the springs, and then the inside of the lures. Like, that is insanely gross. Look at that. Like, that is disgusting. So I'm gonna have to clean this up with like warm water, degreaser, everything possible to get this clean. And you can see there's a bit of rust on this sleeve. So I'm gonna have to take some steel wool and chrome polish and polish that up. Yikes. It's just so freaking bad. I can't even believe that right now. So I think these come off. Like, they should theoretically come off. So I'm gonna try to pop these off and clean that all up, because there's just so much crap in there. It's insane. Look at that, you guys. It's unreal. I'll show you this. So, like, look at, like, that is insane. Like, how much like dirt and debris and crap is just stuck in there. I guess these are supposed to screw out, so you're supposed to go like counterclockwise. And the spring just screws out. Like, look at that. Holy cow, man. That is just not... Look at that. Is that even gonna zoom in? Like, look at all that crap on there. That's insanity. Yikes. Gross. So again, this side, go counterclockwise. Should just unscrew. Yeah, that's just crazy dirty. I don't even... Looks like there's an elastomer inside there. Like, there is... Let's see if that comes out. Inside both of the springs, there is actually an elastomer in there. So we're gonna have to clean this all up and then put her back together. Alright, so I tipped the lowers upside down and all this stuff came out of the lowers. So, like, that's insane. There's just so much crap. And I took the rubber gaskets or bushings off the top, and there's just so much crap in there. This will be interesting. So I'm going to use a combination of coat hanger, rags, and dish soap to try to clean the uppers and lowers out. Get all that dirt and grime out of there. Clean up the elastomers and everything in this bucket. Jeez Louise, man. Crazy. Alright, so I'm going to take the steel wool and I don't know what I should use on it. I'll just use WD-40 because that's what I usually did. Remove rust. That's really bad. Holy cow. Show you the back side. So like I'm working on that, and then back side here is pretty rough as well. So yeah, I don't know about these, you guys. Making do though. So we're using an air tool now. Alright, so this was on the non-drive side of the bike, so on this, it was inside of here. So that probably slid up inside of here. And it's completely destroyed. So I keep stepping on that. So I don't feel like there's really no point of putting it back in because it just obstructs the suspension, and I think that was just to like stop the spring from rattling around in there. And that's probably why that spring was so rusted on this side, because that trapped water and it like soaked it up. So yeah, we're just gonna toss that and send it, because there's really, I don't really understand. It's almost like cardboard, kind of. Very thin thin cardboard, almost like paper. So yeah, I don't see the point of it, to be honest. And okay, so yeah, now that we got everything cleaned up, we're gonna start putting it back together. That should be fun. All right, so now that we have everything cleaned up, we're gonna start putting it back together. I have the Slickoleum, and I'm going to be using that. It's the preferred grease for fork servicing. So then, it's kind of interesting. It's a light grease that looks like this. I'm going to put that all over the place, basically. So For starters, we got our elastomers and our springs. Discovered that there's actually elastomers in there in each spring, just buried in rust and debris. So grease those up. Take a dollop of grease on my finger. So if you grease on my finger, I'm just gonna grease this elastomer up as much as I can. And then I'm kind of concerned because this spring is like almost rusted all the way through, as you can see, and I don't think I can purchase a replacement. So yeah, this forks definitely need to be replaced, but we're gonna make do with what we have. And I'm gonna put the elastomer in the spring like so. And then I'm gonna coat the spring a nice coating of grease, prevent the corrosion and let it move freely in the upper. So yeah, just keep coating her with grease. So I'm gonna put a little bit of grease inside here. So the spring twists into the uppers clockwise. So just spin clockwise and they're in place like so. And then I'm going to put some grease on the upper, especially in the spot with the corrosion. Got a nice coating on there, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the other spring. Got less on there, coat grease, got a nice coating grease, and then drop down, and then coat spring grease. Alright, so got this one. Got the left side on some coating grease, and I'm going to twist clockwise into water. Like so. Got this. Nice and secure in the upper, and then nice grease. Here. So. And then I gotta put the lower back together. So I took a screwdriver and I popped these little rubber bushings out. So I pop them out of each one of these holes. So I'm gonna coat them in grease and then put them in. Alright, so we got the lowers on. Now I gotta line up this stupid spring with this hole on both sides, and I'll even taking an Allen key and then just putting it in the center on both sides, and then hopefully you can get the bolts back on. Alright, so I centered the springs with the Allen key, sticking it in the hole, and then the 4mm, how do I think they're 4mm bolts bolt in. since we have the bike upside down, goes clockwise to tighten. If the bike was on the repair stand, we'd be going counterclockwise. Tighten them down as tight as you can get them. I'm really afraid of breaking the spring. Okay, so as tight as I can get them. And then I'm gonna put it back up in the repair stand. Alright, now that the fork's together, we can put these caps back on. So there's superficial caps, pop them on the top of the fork. RST logo facing, I don't know, should I have it facing the front or the back? Okay, I'll have it facing rider. So I got the caps on. Now I gotta figure out how to put these brakes back together. I'm gonna put some marine grease on this part of the brake right here. Okay, so I'm gonna get the brakes together and then we'll test the fork. Okay, my phone's about to die, but I got the brakes bolted on. And then just have to put the front wheel back on. So let's test the fork out. So this is me sitting on it. And works really well. It's got a lot more travel. I hope this helps.